Welcome, welcome, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We're getting at 71 participants. Students from all over the world joining us here in Minnesota. Welcome. I'm going to ask folks to, thank you. I'm going to ask all of our students if you can chat where you're joining us from. Are you in your home nation? Are you here in Minnesota? And if you can also rename yourself by clicking on the three dots up here and then click your name and then add what institution you were admitted to. Okay. I see Singapore, Pakistan, Spain, Germany, Colombia, Brazil. Oh, we have someone from Brazil, Joe. Joe is one of our staff members. Nepal, Burma, Ethiopia. We have so many different countries and many different nations joining us today. We're going to wait maybe a couple more minutes so students are able to join us from around the world. So I'm going to ask Ray to play a video for us. Please continue to chat where you're joining us from. Hey, well, welcome everybody. I am super excited to have you here and welcome international students to your home state, Minnesota. I am here joined by your home institutions today. My name is Marina Uehara and I'm the Director for Student Engagement at the University of Minnesota International Student Scholar Services. I am very excited for each one of you as you begin your academic journey here in Minnesota. I, too, just like many of you, chose Minnesota for my studies and had a great experience as an international student. I actually came from Argentina many, many, many years ago. You will notice that on my name today, I am sharing my pronouns. And I would like for you to use, when referring to me, the pronouns of she, her, and hers. Often people will share their pronouns in their introductions during classes or events, or for example, for today's event, as you will notice on our names today. If you feel safe to share those pronouns in your introductions, you can start practicing doing that today. And obviously, if you have any questions, let us know. Today's session is a great mix of hearing from professional staff from various different institutions, as well as current international students who have been here in Minnesota for a little bit. I want to thank our host, Global Minnesota, who got us all together to do this joint welcome to the state of Minnesota. Today, we are joined by professional staff from Minneapolis College, St. Paul College, University of St. Thomas, Concordia University, St. Paul, Minnesota State University in Mankato, and the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I will now pass it on over to Joe from Global Minnesota to continue with our warm welcome to our state. Joe.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Minnesota, wherever you are. Minnesota is known as the state of the North and also the land of 10,000 lakes. And the fun thing is that we have more than 10,000 lakes. We have 11,000 plus lakes and even 14,000 plus lakes. We've considered the lakes that we share the Canadian border. So it's an incredibly gorgeous state. I'm Joe Matos, volunteer international student manager at Global Minnesota. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm Brazilian. I'm speaking from Brazil right now. I'm on vacation. Today's my last vacation, but it's a pleasure to welcome all of you to the incredible state that Minnesota is. I'm going to share a little bit about Global Minnesota and what we do for international students here in the main session. But in the breakout room later on, I can talk to you more about Minnesota, answer your questions, connect you with resources, and it's a pleasure to be here. So about Global Minnesota. Global Minnesota was founded in 1951, so a while ago. And back then, it was created to welcome international students to Minnesota. And it was created by professors of the University of Minnesota and community members to support them when they were coming to the state, because back then we didn't have as much of an infrastructure to welcome them. As you can see in this picture in the background, these are students that are members, Global Minnesota members, took them on a trip to the north of the state to a cabin on a lake. And that's called, they went up north. It's a very common expression here. With time, Global Minnesota evolved and grew, and we became one of the largest world affairs consuls in the United States. So today, our programs do more than support international students. And we are a nonprofit and nonpartisan organization. Our mission today is to advance international understanding and engagement and everything that we do. And if you go to our website, globalminnesota.org, we see all that we do to support our mission. And our motto for international students back then was, they came as strangers, may they leave as friends. And that's how we think about all of you today, that you stay connected with us even after you're here. Next one. I'll briefly talk about what we do that is of interest for international students, because we do more than that. And you can check that on our website. So my department, International Student Engagement, we do monthly gatherings with international students, pretty much once a month. And they're like social and cultural events. We try to connect international students with students from other schools, other universities and colleges, and to connect them with Minnesota nature, culture, traditions, history, and lifestyle. So you can see in the picture on the left, we took last month international students to a day camp experience, and they were roasting hot dogs on the fire for the first time. And this month we took them to a beach party, and they had a blast. And so stay connected with us to be a part of all these incredible events. We also have on the right, you see a picture of a student, international student and children. This is our Classroom Connection volunteering program, which is led by my colleague Sylvia Oxenham, that's here today. This is a great opportunity for international students to provide community service, but also to learn more about the United States school system, interact with teachers and children, share their culture. It's a great professional experience. It's great to add to your resume, and also to have a full experience connecting with Minnesotans here in our state. I also help coordinate internships at Global Minnesota. We're a small nonprofit with 15 a staff of 15 people. So we don't have many roles, usually 2 to 4 internship roles per term, spring, summer, and fall. They're great roles for students, especially those that are into international relations, political sciences, global studies. They're passionate about nonprofit management, and I'll start recruiting for the fall in a couple of weeks on our website. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly. We also have something that I think international students should take advantage. We have corporate relations department. Global Minnesota has more than 50 corporate members, actually 55 corporate members, small to large. So companies like Cargill, 3M, they're our members. And our corporate relations department organizes professional events. And those are incredible opportunities for professional development and for networking. So for those of you that want to leverage and build networking for corporate professionals, that's a great opportunity. That's a little bit what we do for international students. We also do once a year in-person welcome event to international students. It's usually like later in September. Last year, we took international students to the Mall of America, which is so famous worldwide, to a scavenger's hunt, and which was lots of fun. We don't have the date in place yet for this year's International Student Welcome event, but if you stay connected with us, I should provide more information in August. And next. And how to stay connected with us and how to stay engaged with Minnesota, because that's our purpose, is if you scan this QR code now on your screen, and I'll also later on put on the chat as well, you go to our website on a page that you can register to receive our newsletter. I don't send too many, I promise. I usually do per term, per season, spring, summer, fall, and winter, a newsletter, usually with lots of fun things to do and telling about what we're doing. I also sent some emails about our upcoming events. And so in a couple weeks, I'll be sending an email about our next international student event, which will be guided tours of the Minneapolis Institute of Art. So stay engaged with us, please register, and it'll be awesome to interact with all of you. Just to wrap up my presentation quickly, I'm sure you guys did your homework. You're seeing on the screen St. Paul and Minneapolis together. They are the twin cities. St. Paul is the capital of Minnesota. As you can see on the left, that's an iconic image of Paul Bunyan and baby blue ox. You're going to see them everywhere in Minnesota, t-shirts, socks, mugs. They're actually folk characters. They're not real. They're not historic. Lots of legends and stories to tell about around the fire. Below, you see a picture of our Capitol building, and we are going to be taking international students on guided tours this fall. And St. Paul and Minneapolis together and the surrounding area that you see is the Twin Cities metro area. That's 3.7 million people that live here and 5.7 million in the state of Minnesota. So it's just a perfect size of a city, lots of things to do, a great quality of life, great infrastructure. And Mankato is a great city as well. And Beth's going to talk more about that later on. So I'm going to wrap up here. I hope I can see you guys in the breakout room later to learn more about Minnesota, fun things, lots of resources. I'll also be sharing a link to a WhatsApp group in case you guys want to stay connected after this meeting. I'm going to pass to my colleague, Ani Bowers, which is the International Student Admissions and Advisor at Minneapolis College. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. I am from Minneapolis College, as Joe said. We're technically Minneapolis Community and Technical College, really long name. So MCTC is what we used to be called. We now call ourselves Minneapolis College. As she said, my name is Ani Bowers, and my pronouns are they, them, theirs. I'm really happy to be here with you all. Our mission at Minneapolis College is to provide access to the transformative power of education in a diverse and dynamic downtown environment. And I included here just a little picture. This is zoomed in on Minneapolis. Minneapolis Community and Technical College is over here on the other side of the downtown area from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Super accessible via public transportation. These are things that I'm happy to talk to people about. I'm a nerd for public transportation. Cool. And we are located on Loring Park. And one of the things about Minneapolis and St. Paul is we have a ton of green space, also known as parks. And it's really cool because Loring Park is like our backyard, which is really nice. So we are also near housing, and I put that in there just because Minneapolis College and most community colleges don't have dormitory facilities. And so I'm happy to talk more about housing options and what other students have done in terms of housing in the Q&A later. And then next slide. Perfect. Just a couple facts about Minneapolis College. We are part of a system. It's the other public university and college system in the state of Minnesota other than the University of Minnesota. It is called Minnesota State, which is all very confusing. So Minnesota State is its own education system. Our college has about 9,000 students, but since everybody commutes, it never has 9,000 students on campus at one time. We have pretty small class sizes. The student to faculty ratio is 22:1, so you do get that amazing one-on-one and just personal attention from faculty. Currently, we have 135 international students, which doesn't seem like a lot. However, we have a lot of people who might consider themselves international students because we have a large immigrant population and then just a very diverse student population as in general. We have a wide range of programs, being both a community college that has like liberal arts programs. Then we also have technical programs like welding, for example, where as a community college, we are very affordable. There is no in-state or out-state tuition. Everyone pays the same per credit cost for attending classes. And community colleges, some of you may not know, basically do associate's degrees. And associate's degrees are the first 2 years of a bachelor's program. And so our credits transfer very easily to a university, say the University of Minnesota, who you're going to hear from, and University of Minnesota, or wait, Minnesota State University, Mankato. So we often send folks to our like sister universities once they're done at Minneapolis College. Thanks. I am going to pass it on to Katie at St. Paul College.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katie. I'm the International Student Coordinator at St. Paul College. I use she, her pronouns. It was so exciting to see everybody's messages in the chat to see where you all are coming from. I'm super excited to be here. We are St. Paul College. We're a community college, very similar to Minneapolis College, and actually a part of that same Minnesota State system of colleges and universities. So we're kind of sibling colleges with Minneapolis College, but we're on the other half of the Twin Cities in St. Paul. So we're located in a neighborhood called Cathedral Hill. It's very close to downtown St. Paul. It's called Cathedral Hill because there's a beautiful St. Paul's Cathedral. It's a gorgeous building that's right next to our campus, but it's a great neighborhood. We're currently serving 135 F1 international students, but like Minneapolis College, we have a pretty large immigrant student population. So there's a lot of diversity on our campus, a lot of different students from different backgrounds, different ages. So it's a really, really nice mix of our community. We're also a community college, so we have some of our popular programs being computer science, business, liberal arts, but we also have some specialty like technical programs, like our culinary arts program is very popular. We also have automotive service technician and some other specialized, more hands-on programs. I wanted to share, we recently elected a new college mascot. We didn't have a mascot until recently. We chose the fox. So it was a big campaign that was all of the students and staff submitted nominations for the mascot and they voted and we decided on the fox. So we're very excited. There's actually a story about a wild fox. We are in downtown, so we're not like completely rural, but there is a story of a wild fox that kind of runs around the Cathedral Hill neighborhood. So we're thinking that maybe that's our mascot that's just running free in St. Paul. You can go to the next slide. Just wanted to give a visual of where we're located. So we're right next to, the Cathedral of St. Paul, and then downtown St. Paul is right there. And then the Minnesota State Capitol, which Joe shared a picture of, is just a walking distance from us. So we're pretty close to the Minnesota State Capitol and the Minnesota History Center, and the Science Museum of Minnesota. So super excited that you all are here, and I'm excited to see some familiar names of future St. Paul College students that were popping in. So I'm going to pass it over to Tina from University of St. Thomas.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you currently are. My name is Tina Alvin. I'm the Intercultural Programs Manager at the University of St. Thomas. I'm also an international student advisor, so I help F1 students with all the fun stuff that comes with being on a student visa. Like I said, I'm representing the University of St. Thomas. I also have my graduate assistant, Carolina, on the call today. Carolina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Carolina Martinez. I'm originally from Peru and did my associates at one of the Minnesota College network, I guess, in Rochester. And then I transferred to St. Thomas, and I'm currently doing a grad degree there. So yeah, excited to see you guys.
So together, Carolina and I plan a lot of events and programs for international students here on campus. But just to tell you a little bit about St. Thomas, we have two campuses. Our main campus is located in St. Paul, and our other campus is located in downtown Minneapolis. In the photo, you can see this is our St. Paul campus. You can see our football stadium, some of our academic buildings, and some of our residence halls as well. So we can go to the next slide. So St. Thomas has about 10,000 students, grad and undergrad. We have about 500 international students, could be a little bit more or less. And our international students come from more than 75 different countries. Right now, I think we have quite a few students from India, Vietnam. Carolina, do you remember any other countries?
China as well.
Yes.
Yes. In Ethiopia. A lot of students we have from Ethiopia.
So we were founded in 1885. We're the largest private university in Minnesota. We have pretty small class sizes, which means you get a lot of personalized attention from your professors. One of our things that we like to say is that we try to seek to understand today's most pressing social challenges, build mutually beneficial relationships, and work toward innovative solutions, all for the common good. Some of our most popular majors include business, computer science, data analytics, and engineering. But we have, Caroline, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we have 150 plus majors and minors.
You're right. Yeah.
And we're looking forward to connecting with the St. Thomas students that are on the call today. So I'm going to pass it on to Veronica from Concordia University, St. Paul.
Hi, everyone. I'm Veronica Mashek, the Senior International Recruiter and Partnership Manager from Concordia University, St. Paul. Super excited to have you all today, whatever time zone it is for you, if it's morning, afternoon, or evening. Hello and welcome all. So Concordia University St. Paul is also located in St. Paul. We're really near St. Thomas, and we're just down the road from St. Paul College, that from when Katie was presenting as well. Super great location. The metro is just 1 block away. So shout out there again to public transportation, and the bus stops right at the university. So if you're a bus taker or a metro taker, super, super easy to get to Concordia University, St. Paul. We've been in the exact same location since 1893. So we have a really long history of being here in St. Paul. Next slide, please. We have about 4,000 total students. We are the second largest private college in the state of Minnesota, and we have over 800 international students from about 40 different countries. I was just looking at our registered students for this coming fall. We have students from India, Nepal, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, China, the UK, just to name a few. So it's a super, super diverse group, and super, super excited to welcome all of you here on campus. We have a faculty to student ratio, which is 15:1, which is super exciting. You know that your professors are actually going to know your name. You get really personalized attention, and it's really hard to fall behind when your professors know who you are, and we are dedicated to student success. So your faculty and staff is here to help you succeed. We have a variety of resources that are all included for you here on campus, such as career development, library services, writing support, tutoring. And then you also have me here at International Student Services, and we are a team of 9 to help support all of you here with your F1 visas and immigration questions, academic advising, and career advising as well. And my final favorite fact about Concordia University St. Paul is that all of our professors have real world work experience. So all the professors that are going to be teaching you in your classes coming up this fall have all worked in the field before they come to Concordia. So they're not just talking air, they know what they're talking about. They are experienced and well-rehearsed in what they are educating you on. So welcome here to Concordia University St. Paul, and I am going to pass it on to Beth from Minnesota State at Mankato.
Thanks, Veronica. Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Lorenz, and I'm the Assistant Director of International Recruitment and Enrollment at Minnesota State University, Mankato. So we're traveling a little bit south of the Twin Cities, about 120 kilometers southeast of Minneapolis and St. Paul, where Mankato is located. So the university name comes from its location, Minnesota State University, Mankato. And we are also part of the same Minnesota State University colleges and university system that St. Paul College and Minneapolis College are part of. So that's a consortium of, I think, 37 institutions, if I remember correctly. But Minnesota State University is home to the Mavericks, which is our mascot, and currently enrolls about 14,000 students from just over 100 countries. And we currently host around 1,600 international students. And we're so proud of the diversity and the connection that international students bring, not only to the university, but also to the Southern Minnesota community. Mankato is located in the beautiful Minnesota River Valley of Blue Earth County, which is home to the most miles of river in the entire state of Minnesota. And if you happen to have been watching any of the news lately in Minnesota, you might have seen that the Minnesota had record rainfall the past couple of weeks, and that's led to some flooding in the area, especially in the Minnesota River Valley. But thankfully, the university is open. Faculty and staff are staying safe, and the university is doing all it can to communicate the situation to our students. But when the area is not flooding, Mankato has amazing opportunities for recreation all year round. Students can experience all 4 seasons in Mankato, whether they're biking or hiking on the more than 200 miles of trails around the city, or camping or canoeing along the beautiful Minnesota River, or learning how to ski or snowboard at Mount Cato. There's so many ways that you can explore the area and make Mankato your home. Mankato is also home to a state park called Minneapolis State Park that has a herd of wild bison roaming around. So you can actually go see bison just outside of the main downtown area of Mankato, which is pretty cool to experience. And Mankato is truly it has a big city, or it has the amenities of a big city with a small town feel. So you can have all of the access to everything you would want in Mankato, with quick access to Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, as well as the Twin Cities. So for future Mavericks who are joining us today, we look forward to welcoming you to Mankato. On the next slide, I have contact information for our International Center at MSU. So feel free to follow us on social media. Our social media is managed by current international students, and they're always posting really fun, exciting things that are happening on campus. So we look forward to welcoming you, and I will pass it on to you, Marina.
Thank you, Beth, for just sharing a little bit about Mankato, and I'm glad to hear that you're all safe over there. I will be talking a little bit about the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, just at a glance. For a lot of we have about 5,000 international students from over 130 different countries and nations, and a little bit over 52,000 students here on our Twin Cities campus. About 30,000 of them are undergraduate, and 15,000 of them will be graduate and professional school students. One interesting fact about the University of Minnesota is that it was founded as a prep school in 1851, 7 years before the territory of Minnesota becomes a state. And so that's why we call it a land grant institution. We're actually located both in Minneapolis and St. Paul, so both on the Twin Cities campus, and we have 3 different banks around both of those 2 cities, 1 in St. Paul and then 2 in Minneapolis. But the University of Minnesota also consists of a system-wide campus. So we do have system-wide campuses in Duluth, Morris, Crookston, and Rochester. The University of Minnesota is also part of the Big Ten Academic Alliance, which consists of 14 different research institutions around the Midwest. One of the fun things that I wanted to share with all of you is that we endearly call all of our international students at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities Global Gopher, because Goldie Gopher is the official mascot at the University of Minnesota. And you'll notice at your institutions, you'll be called the name of your mascot, because that's what we call our students, faculty, staff, and alumni from all over. If you're ever on the Twin Cities campus on the East Bank, you can rub Goldie's teeth who's in front of the student union and make a wish, and you'll notice his teeth are a little bit worn out or a little bit brighter. We do have professors and alumni that have won Nobel Prizes, and we have almost 500,000 alumni around the world with 80 different alumni networks worldwide. We are, again, as I mentioned, and as Joe mentioned much earlier, there's the Twin Cities, St. Paul, and Minneapolis. You can actually cross the Mississippi River as you go from the East Bank to the West Bank, and you can see that as you walk from one place to the other. So just in general, I wanted to share a little bit about the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, but also just share that all of these institutions around Minnesota, we are super excited to have you all here with us today. A lot of us host really great events. Just because you're in one school doesn't mean you can't go to someone else's event as well. I remember going across the bridge for me when I was an undergrad at another institution. There were different schools, and I remember they had really awesome cultural events for me to join. So again, we wanted all of you to connect with all students from all over the world here in the in our Minnesota state, which we call it home. For our next slide, I will be introducing our international students who will be presenting on their experiences living in Minnesota. A lot of you have questions. How will I survive the Minnesota weather? So I will be asking at the next slide, and a few of our student leaders here today who have survived Minnesota winter and are thriving, and hopefully they're all loving it today. I have Soliana, Daniel, Jaden, Yulia, Shimon, Youth, and Key, who are from various different programs, very different levels of education as well, to share a little bit about their introductions and their experiences living here. So I'm now officially passing on over to Daniel, who will talk a little bit about living here.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel, and as Marina mentioned, I'm a global Gopher leader. I'm originally from Singapore, so coming over to Minnesota, which is a super cold country compared to a hot country, was a really good experience for me. I'm currently going into my third year studying computer science, and you'll be seeing me a lot more in these events and also in person, so don't be shy to say hi. I'll now talk to you guys about how to make connections. As you know, people get nervous, but you should never be able to not say hi because they're also nervous just like you are. When I first came here, I thought, man, these guys look really scary, but turns out they were just maybe scared of making friends. And that's what actually brought me closer to them. It's that they're not actually scary, they just may be scared to say hi. And that made me think, you know what? My best friends have come from me saying hi to random people, or just maybe me saying, hey, you know, you live on the same dorm floor as me. What's your name? And then it all just goes from there. So always never be afraid to say hi, even though you're scared. Everybody feels scared too. Another thing I would suggest is to be open to new experiences. You don't know what your favorite clubs or activities might be if you don't put yourself out there to try new experiences. So please, please, please join several student clubs and decide what you like and what you don't like. Another thing I'd like for you guys to know is that a language barrier should not be a barrier to friendship. And also, friendliness is a universal language. Even though you might not speak the same language as someone, smiling is going to convey that you're a friendly person, and that can do a lot in your relationships. I'll now pass it to Jaden to talk a little bit about how to layer yourself for the winter. Jaden, please.
Thanks, Daniel. So, hello everyone. My name is Jaden Antoine, and I am from Trinidad and Tobago originally, but now I'm here at the University of Minnesota, studying business marketing education at CEHD. And today I'll just be sharing some essential tips about how to stay warm during the Minnesota winters. So first and foremost, it is crucial to invest in a high quality coat. A good coat would essentially be your best friend during these cold months, providing you with the necessary insulation just to keep you warm. And look for one that is waterproof and windproof is what I'd recommend. That's to protect you from the snow and the chilly winds that build up during the winter. And in addition to a winter coat, a pair of sturdy winter boots is also essential. During the cold months, we get a lot of black ice, and trust me, we don't want you slipping and falling on your way to class. So your boots should be insulated, waterproof, and have good traction prevention. Good traction to prevent slipping, on the icy sidewalk, as I mentioned earlier. And then you also want to have warm and dry feet to stay comfortable. Next, I would suggest understanding layering. And layering your clothes is another effective way to stay warm. Start with a moisture wicking base to keep the sweat away from your skin, really. And then I like to add a thermal or fleece layer for insulation, and then finish with the winter coat that I mentioned earlier. This way you can adjust your layers to stay comfortable, whether indoors or outdoors. And don't forget to protect your extremities, meaning wear a beanie or a hat to keep your head warm, even to keep your ears warm. Gloves or mittens are also essential to keep your hands warm, and a good scarf to keep your neck warm and also prevent cold air from getting into your coat. And lastly, it is important to dress warmly even if you're running short errands because traveling between buildings on campus, it can be really unpredictable. The temperature changes really, really fast sometimes. So always prepare for the worst. It is always better to be over-prepared and overdressed than under-prepared and underdressed. So I hope these tips make you feel a little bit more prepared. I hope that you are ready to embrace the cold, and I hope you find some way to have fun in this extreme cold of Minnesota. So everyone have fun and stay warm, and I'll pass it over to Soliana, who will talk about how to spend time in the winter.
Thank you, Jaden. Hi, everybody. My name is Soliana Shakur. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm currently an international student from Ethiopia studying here at the University of Minnesota in the College of Liberal Arts. I major in computer science, and I've been living here for 2 years, and I'm excited to share some fantastic activities and cozy cafes to enjoy in the Twin Cities. Especially during the winter season, you can start with a classic movie night with hot chocolate at home, and you can venture outside to an adorable cafe like Dogwood Coffee, Fairgrounds Coffee, and my personal favorite, which is Fragment Coffee. And we have another list for you to check out. They have chill steady spaces with specialized menu of baked goods and refreshments. For a unique dining experience, check out Gray's, a food hall with diverse options. In the next slide, we have some activities you can enjoy. For example, snow tubbing at Theodore, recreational sledding, Como sledding hill, and you can also try ice skating at local rinks or join a figure skating club. For adventure seekers, snowboarding and classes are available. Explore the enchanting ice castle and ice mazes in Minnesota. Don't miss out on dog sledding and festivals on frozen lakes either. If you have any questions or if you needed to do, if you have something on your mind, please ask us in the breakout rooms so we can provide recommendations from our experiences. The Twin Cities offer something for everyone in the winter, so enjoy your time here. And I'll pass it on to Daniel.
Hi everyone, it's me again. I just want to preface this slide. I know it looks very scary with the exclamation points and extreme cold is dangerous, but you really don't have to worry if you listen to how Jaden structured his points about layering. But let me talk to you guys about the 3 most important points in this slide, which I think are frostbite, dry skin, and winter depression. Frostbite is the result of when the extreme cold damages your extremities, like your ears, nose, cheeks, chin, fingers, and toes. And the skin can look gray and white, and sometimes blisters can form, but you don't have to worry about getting frostbite if you pay attention to how to layer yourself properly. You can also get really dry skin if you don't apply proper moisturizer or lotion, and that is something that I actually have to do every day while I'm here in the winter. Because coming from a humid country, because it's naturally humid, I just sweat more, so I'm naturally moisturized. But in a dry country, that doesn't happen here. So you have to put in the effort every day to moisturize yourself. One last thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is winter depression. That happens here a lot because the sun tends to set at 4:30 p.m. at its earliest in the bleak of winter. So we don't get a lot of sunlight here. So one thing I like to talk to you guys about is make sure that you appreciate the sunlight that you do have and be wary that you don't get as much sunlight during the winter. Next slide, please. I just want to tell you guys a little story about what happened to me when it was really cold. This was when it was about -25 degrees Celsius. I know it's a really low number, but it's manageable. One mistake I made was I had been playing a soccer match and I was really heated up, like warmed up. And after the soccer match, I was coming home and I thought I did not need to wear my gloves because I was rather warm. Don't make the mistake of underestimating the cold. Make sure that you layer up properly and you cover your extremities and you'll do just fine. Next slide, please. Before you leave the house, I would recommend checking the temperature app. That could be on your iPhone, just the weather app when you slide to your left. And I want you guys to pay attention to the little circle that circles the feels like number. Sometimes it may be colder than what the app tells you because of wind chill. So you have to search for the section that tells you what it actually feels like, and then you can get a more accurate representation of how cold it actually is. Next slide, please. We have a bunch of health resources too. If you really need to, you can call 911 for help, but trust me, you guys will be fine. I don't mean to scare you at all. The winter really is a great opportunity to enjoy. Next slide, please. I'm just gonna play a little video for you guys, and hopefully you'll take this as a joke, and also be wary about how slippery black ice can be in the winter. This does happen quite a fair bit. If you have to watch where you're going when you're walking in the winter, maybe I'd suggest looking down every couple seconds to know where to place your feet. I'll now pass it to Katie to talk about what to do on the day you arrive to the US. Katie, please.
Hello again, everybody. We just wanted to give a quick, short overview of what's actually going to happen in the airport when you arrive to the United States. So you're all going to arrive to some airport first in the United States, and this is going to be called your port of entry. It's the first US airport that you encounter on your travels. So it might not be MSP Airport, it might be Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, it could be another airport, but what's going to happen when you arrive there is you're going to go through US Customs and Border Protection. So you're going to need to probably wait in line. The process can sometimes be lengthy. It's important to just be patient. Make sure that you have all of your documents ready to go to present to the Customs and Border Protection officer. And just a note that you may be directed to something called secondary inspection. It doesn't automatically mean that something is wrong. Sometimes the customs officer just needs to ask them some additional questions and doesn't want to hold up the rest of the line, so they direct some folks to secondary inspection. Veronica, I know you had a good story about this.
I do, yes. So don't be afraid of secondary inspection. It can be the tiniest thing where you put your birthday day, month, year instead of month, day, year. So the simplest thing can flag you for secondary inspection. It just means they want to check over your documents one time, and it happens to everybody. It's not just an international student thing. It happens to people all the time. One of my coworkers here at Concordia University, her name's Yanina. She's from Germany. She occasionally gets pulled into secondary holding, and she's a green card holder here in the US. So it really happens to everyone. Just stay calm. They just want to verify your documents again, and it really is nothing to worry about.
Yeah, thanks, Veronica. So one other thing that's going to happen when you go through customs and enter the US is you're going to be issued a digital I-94 record. It's your arrival departure record from the US. And it's super important that you download this and check it for accuracy sometime after you arrive. It might not seem super important right away, but it's going to be needed to make sure that you can apply for OPT later on, or some other applications. And it also is just making sure that you entered in the right status and that everything is recorded correctly in the system. So you can download at i94.cbp.dhs.gov, and you may be getting some information about that from your respective institutions as well. And I'm going to pass it back to Daniel.
Thank you, Katie. So now I'm going to introduce the breakout room section to you guys. This is the last segment for this session. If you notice at the bottom right side of the slide, there is a button titled Breakout Rooms. That button is going to be in your control panel in your Zoom. When you click on that window, this will pop up, the breakout room in progress pop up, and you can interchangeably join between breakout rooms. This time around, you will be joining your college-specific breakout room. There are 14 breakout rooms, so please join the group that's titled After Your College. In there, you will be able to speak to your college representative about questions that are general or college-specific. Feel free to ask whatever you need. and let us know if you can't join any room. We can help assign you to a room. I will now pass it on to Marina to facilitate the breakout rooms and explain the various breakout rooms. Marina, please.
Thank you, Daniel, for just introducing the breakout rooms. And I'm going to go quickly through the 10 different rooms. So in just a minute, Ray, who has been doing our tech today, thank you very much, Ray, will be opening up the breakout rooms. You can select the ones that you want to join. So I would start with your college that you have been, or the university that you have been admitted. So if you have been admitted to the St. Paul College, please join that one. So Ray, I'm going to ask you to open that right now. So if you already know which breakout rooms to go to, you will now see it, that if you click on breakout rooms, you can join the breakout room of your choice. Afterwards, when you are done, you can always jump into the Global Minnesota to find out volunteer opportunities, or if you are a Fulbright student, then please join the session, the breakout room that Yulia is hosting for all Fulbright students at any university. You can jump from one room to the other. We do have a group from the University of Minnesota for graduate students who are parents with Melanie. So if you have any questions, even though you may not be a University of Minnesota student, you can join that, especially if you're bringing in small children or your spouse is here. Again, this is the end of the session today. Once you're done with the breakout rooms, you are more than welcome to leave. And we look forward to welcoming you in person when you arrive here in August. So again, thank you so much for being here. I will stay behind and I will ensure that you join the appropriate breakout rooms, but the staff that are in charge of each one of these institutions will be there right now. So please join them. We will keep the breakout rooms open until 9:15 today or a little bit longer as needed. Again, thank you very much, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Sarah, can I ask you to help me with moving folks around? If you're still in the main room, I'm going to now pause recording.